but also show some potential production parts that we're going to actually be introducing on this vehicle next year as well.
As you probably already know, Dodge has released their concept 6-pack Charger that has like tons of cosmetic upgrades already added to it. Now, before you go to the direct connection catalog and start buying those parts and adding them to your new Dodge Charger that you got, you might want to wait just a little bit, because Dodge is going to drop the SRT Charger that already has all those upgrades already on it, and there's past SEMA builds prove that they will be doing that. Let's go ahead and get into the video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail. So like I said, yeah, Dodge has released their 6-pack Charger, and they put a whole bunch of new cosmetic upgrades on this Charger. Now, before it was looking kind of plain, but now these upgrades have got this Charger looking rather mean. Now, it doesn't really stop there. So we know SEMA typically isn't a place that Dodge, you know, unveils new cars that's coming out in the future. But one thing that we have learned from the past with Dodge is that a lot of their past SEMA builds have led to production cars, or at least gave them inspiration for the production cars that they will eventually release to the public. And this is no different. So what I'm pretty much saying is this, that this concept Charger that Dodge released for SEMA will be the look of the new SRT Charger when it comes out. Now, first and foremost, we already know they have put the SRT team back together and open that division back up. So eventually there will be SRT Chargers coming at some point. Now, granted, we don't know what kind of engines are going to be going into the new Chargers in the future, but we do know as of today what the new SRT Chargers will look like. So let's start here. So what makes an SRT vehicle different from the base model vehicle? Now, Dodge, with their new Chargers, pretty much these are more of the base model vehicles, if you want to say that. So what really sets the SRT cars apart from the normal base model cars? Now, besides the engine, most of the things that set the SRT cars apart will be visual upgrades, such as different hoods, different front bumpers, different front splitters, different wheels, possibly lower, different spoilers and things of that nature. So what did this new Charger concept just give us? It just gave us a new hood, new front splitter, new wheels, lower, and a new spoiler for this particular car. Now, this isn't too far from what Dodge has already done to their past Chargers and Challengers. If you take an XXT Challenger or Charger and compare it to an Hellcat or even a Scat Pack or something like that, something that's a higher trim, you'll notice that it does have different wheels, different bumpers, different hoods, different spoilers and things of that whole nine. Exactly what is going on here. So what clues from this particular car is telling us that this will be the SRT model going forward when they eventually do come out. But before we show you those clues, we got to show you kind of why this is happening and why this is going to be what it's going to be as far as the new SRT models. Like I stated before, when it comes to SEMA, this is where Dodge usually does take some of their builds from SEMA and take from those and do put them into production cars. Now, here's a few cars that they've done in the past for SEMA and actually turned them into production cars. Now, the first car that comes to mind is called the Holy Guacamole. If you remember, that car is the all green Challenger shaker that they came out with a lot of retro styling in it, with the whole plaid and stuff on the interior, the wood grain dash and all that type of stuff. So what car did that really inspire for Dodge to build? Now, if you remember the last call model, the Swinger model, granted it was kind of a nod to the 70s Swinger style cars or whatever, but you can't help but put the Swinger side by side with the Holy Guacamole Challenger and can't help but notice that they literally look almost identical. Now, the wheels are different, things like that, but the color scheme, the painted shaker intake in the hood and things like that, cars really do favor each other a lot. Now, granted, with the Swinger, they did come out in white and a sublime green, but if you look at the F8 green version of the Swinger and look at the Holy Guacamole Challenger, you can't deny those cars look pretty similar. And I think there's definitely some inspiration there from one car to the other. Now, keeping with the last call models, there's another last call model that was also derived from a SEMA build, which is going to be the Shakedown car. The Shakedown Challenger, which we all remember was a 71 Challenger that was kind of resto modded with the modern 392 engine, Hellcat wheels with the iconic stripe that went down the hood, around the shaker, and down the whole car. All black, looks mean and menacing and things like that. Now, they took that SEMA build, and that SEMA build was the inspiration for the Shakedown Last Call Challenger, which they made and destroyed Victoria gray and pitch black, and I think both wide body and narrow body forms. And that car featured pretty much the same thing, especially if you got the black one, looks pretty much like that car. You have the Hellcat wheels, the stripe that goes down the car around the shaker, things like that. So those are two SEMA builds that actually turned into production cars. Now, before I get into the last one, the last one is pretty much going to be a game changer for Dodge when they did do this with SEMA. We already know that Dodge's security with their past Dodge vehicles hasn't been that well, but hopefully with the future Dodge vehicles that they have coming out, they're going to be much better. But if you do own one of the previous generation Dodge Charger, Challenger, or any Mopar from that generation, make sure your security is up to par and make sure you have this on your car. This is my Dodge Charger Scat Pack wide body. It's big, it's loud, it's bright red. It simply grabs attention no matter where I go. Unfortunately, I bought a car that is 60 times more likely to be stolen than any other car on the road. With the long list of mods and things I bought for this car, one of the first things I installed on my car was this. CarLock, the world's best GPS tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you will be able to live track your car with the GPS from your phone. Also, get alerts sent directly to your phone if anything is going on with your car, such as vibrations, engine starting, the car moving when it shouldn't be moving, or if there's a loss of power, your CarLock will get an alert for that as well. Be sure to get your CarLock. Use my link down in the description below and these discount codes to get a 10% discount on your CarLock purchase, as well as a 14-day free trial of the CarLock service as well. Let's get into the video. Now, the last thing that I want to call out as far as like SEMA builds that actually led to being put into production here. Now, this one, like I said before, is going to be the biggest game changer Dodge has done with any of their cars as far as styling is concerned. Now, this one takes it all the way back to 2015 SEMA. Now, in 2015, we all know that that was the first run of the new refreshed Dodge Charger and Challenger. And for 2015, Dodge brought a V6 or GT Challenger to SEMA, but it featured something pretty iconic on it that pretty much set the stage for Dodge to be what it is today. Now, I know it was not the Hellcat engine, but it was something they started putting on cars later in the few years later that pretty much changed the game. Dodge brought an all-wheel drive GT Challenger, but the special thing about this GT Challenger that it was a wide body Challenger. So this was the first time we have seen Dodge put a wide body on one of their cars, especially for the new refreshed cars that they have just came out for 2015. And you guys can guess where we're going with this. So pretty much that came out in SEMA 2015, but in 2018, Dodge released their first wide body car, which was the 2018 Dodge Demon. Now, after that Demon came out, that wide body that they had on that Challenger from SEMA in 2015 came out on Hellcats, Red Eyes, and also eventually trickled down to the Scat Packs. And also they took it from the wide body from the Challenger and also put it on the Charger and did the exact same thing there. Now, I might be kind of biased, but to me, the wide body was a huge game changer for Dodge. I mean, yes, I own a wide body Charger, but the styling on those cars just took the cars that they had to another level, right? And again, like I said, that started with a SEMA build that they brought out in 2015, and then years later it became a production model and a production option for a lot of their cars. So those are my reasons why this SEMA build is going to be something that is going to eventually come to production. It's going to be the SRT version of these cars when they eventually come out. Now, my thoughts on the SEMA Charger that I see, I already said before in previous videos that I felt like the car looked good for an EV car. I know this is not an EV, but it was lacking, I think, some more styling and things like that. And that's because it was more of a base model car that we were all used to seeing, right? Now, I did a video that showcased this car with some mods on it and said this car does have potential if you put mods on it. And then this SEMA build kind of showcases that to be true. Now, one thing I don't like about this car is the wheels. Like I like the style of the wheels, but I hate the wheels don't have any kind of concave to it. The wheels just look flat, right? And I really hate that they just look flat. Maybe it's because the car is an all-wheel drive car, and so they couldn't really get wheels that have a decent offset to make it look like, you know, make it look a little bit better, look like it has like a little lip on it or something like that. So that's my only gripe about the car. I always said the car needed the side scoops on it. They put the side scoops on the car. I know for a fact that's going to be something they're going to put on SRT cars going forward. The front lip, the hood, I said the hood was very plain looking before, but hey, that's a base model, so it is going to look plain. This new hood scoop looks much better than the standard one that I have on now. Of course, the spoiler as well, more pronounced. You definitely can notice it more on the car. A lot of the cars that they have out now, as far as the Charger is concerned, does not have a spoiler on it, or has a very small spoiler on it. So all those things combined definitely points in the direction that this car is going to be the look of the future SRT cars, whether it has a Hellcat engine or some new engine that they may have coming out. And that's going to wrap up the video here. Let me know your thoughts on this new SEMA Charger and what you think about this being the SRT car going forward. Like I said, I think this is the right look for the car. It checks the boxes for what I think the cars look like. Lowered, bigger spoiler, nicer hood, all the things that need to be in the car like that. Of course, we just need that V8 power plant to go back in there. We're all good. But drop your comments down below, and if you made it this far in the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of car related things on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed so you're up to date on all of that. We will catch you on the next video. I'm out. Got it.